Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5th season of Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar. I'm the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. I want to say thank you, everyone, for listening to me, for watching on YouTube, listening to all of our podcast channels. Please do that. Please subscribe. I am so honored and thrilled to welcome one of my honorary podcasting older brothers and this reality TV legend to help kick off season 5. He began his career on Road Rules X-Treme. And you've seen him on 10 seasons of the challenge. He made it to 5 finals. It was a 3-time champion. And he's one of the only few OGs that compete on the first 3 seasons of Challenge All-Stars, where he made a final. But he's also the co-host of one of my all-time favorite podcasts, reality TV-based podcast, Challenge Media Podcast. So please help me welcome the one, the only Derrick Kosinski to the podcast.
Yeah! What's
up, Derrick?
Thank you for the
Derrick,
introduction.
it is such an honor and thrill to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me, and congratulations on your 5th season. I appreciate the introduction, and Challenge Mania, the Challenge, the All-Stars. It's been quite the ride, and here we are. I think one of your questions asks, I didn't even know this, it says that the Road Rules X-Treme, where this all kind of started, has been 20 years. Exactly 20
Yes,
years. 20. It's been 20 years, huh?
Yes.
Exactly. 2014. So when exactly did Road Rules X-Treme come out? What's the date? What's the date, Jake?
I believe it was 2004.
2004. And what's the date?
Well, I honestly have no idea, my friend. I'm just going to be completely honest. It's just when I saw 2004, I'm like, okay.
Okay. Well, I just got in trouble for rolling stop signs in my neighborhood, so I don't know either. But I'm really happy to know that it's been 20 years and we're still kicking. And with Challenge Mania Live, we're even going stronger. So it's been a humbling experience. And for me, I'm just blessed to be able to be able to put food on my family's table, have a roof over our heads, and continue to put smiles on people's faces, whether it's on the podcast or at a live show when we're doing meet and greets, high-fiving, giving bro hugs, or something of that nature.
I gotta say this, and I'm gonna publicly say this. You and Scott are like my honorary older brother figures when it comes to reality TV podcasting. You guys are awesome. You guys have set the bar for me and for other of my colleagues that cover the challenge and cover all reality TV. So I want to say thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I'd like to say you're welcome, but really it's you doing your thing, you doing something you enjoy doing, and that's stems from the challenge. So for me and Scott, we talk about the show. We enjoy talking about the show like it's Sports Center meets wrestling or something like that, meets the Housewives or something like that. And it's just it's humbling to hear that people like you have sort of taken an apple off the tree and made your own tree.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I want to be completely honest. I came on when Paulie, Natalie, and Devon came on. So but because of you, because of Challenge Mania, because of my friends like Drew Angelman and Mike Lewis, I admire the OGs. I became to admire you, and you're one of my all-time favorite OGs.
Thank you. I don't know exactly what I did to be one of your favorite OGs, but I'll take it.
You're determined, to be honest with you. your determination, your fire, your energy, your never can say die attitude, your incredible eliminations. And we'll get to two of them in a minute. But that's what I admire about you, and that's why you're one of my all-time favorite OGs.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been fortunate to have done a lot of cool things on this show. And to be honest, I hope that there's many more moments where people like yourself can grow to continue to enjoy whatever I bring to the table, whether it's fire, determination, never quit. But I think it's cool to hear people say that some of the things that I did are inspiring or motivating. I get that from time to time, and it's pretty cool to be one of those people. I always look at some of the athletes that that I've grown up watching, and those are that's what I would say to them. So to hear those types of acknowledgments from you and others, especially at the Challenge Mania Lives, it's cool. It's cool to be in that position. So thank you.
You're so welcome. So let's get started. So 20 years, as I said earlier, with Road World Stream. So what got you interested to say, hey, I want to be part of Road Rules or Real World?
Yeah, so I was basically sitting on the couch. Actually, I was sitting in my bed, and I was watching. I tore my ACL in college, and I was icing my knee, and I was watching this. What is maybe the Real World? I think I was watching the Real World, and after one of the shows, it went to cut to commercial, and it showed a commercial of the challenge, and it said, if you'd like to be the next cast member of Real World or Road Rules, go to this website. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can try out for this type of stuff. I was like, follow me around with the camera out. Pretty much have a TV show. I pretty much have an episode every night. So I decided to try out, and I went to the computer, I went to the website, and it said that I had just missed the casting call in Chicago. But if you'd like to send in a video, you can, make a tape. So I attempted to find a camcorder at the time. We didn't have cool phones like we do nowadays. And I started to attempt to videotape, some of the things that I did in my life. I asked my friend if he could do it, but every time I started to talk, he would start laughing and making fun of me because of whatever the hell I was saying was either stupid to him or funny to him. And let's just say it didn't work out. I wasn't able to trust my good friends to hold a camera and videotape me while I attempted to tell my story. So then I eventually went to a casting call in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I waited in line for 4 hours, got up in a room with 10 other people who I didn't know. We talked about some topics. Kind of stood out in the crowd with my response and replies. They asked me to stay back. I filled out about 3 hours of paperwork while my friends waited for me outside. And that's kind of where it started. They asked me to come back the next day to do another interview in Milwaukee or in Madison. It was in Madison, Wisconsin. And we then I went home. I didn't hear back from them. They asked me to send in 2 pictures and a video. So then I had to, again, go back to the camera, figure out a way to videotape my life and condense it in 10 minutes. So that was all kind of a journey and a process that I didn't know how to do. And once they asked me to come, I got my tape. They asked me to do another interview in Chicago. Then they flew me out to Los Angeles, did an interview there. And I eventually got on the show. I got a phone call asking if I'd like to be on Road Rules. And of course I was elated. I thought that I was going to be on Real World, but eventually they told me Road Rules. So it was, that's where it began.
And it's amazing after Road Rules. And if you combine All Stars too, 13 seasons. That's just unbelievable. And you competed against so many memorable names and legends in their own time. So what have been some of your favorite seasons that you compete on, and why did they stand out to you?
Yeah, I think that the second season that I did, Inferno 2, that was just a fun experience. And some of the legends that ended up becoming super famous jumped off the challenge ship at that point, and Jamie Chung and Karamo and Mike the Miz. So that was just a memorable season because it was my first time meeting Darrell and CT and Brad, and we all kind of worked together. And Dan Renzi, and these are some, John Brennan, Beth, Tanya. These were some household names back at that point. So that's one season that jumps out. Gauntlet 2, obviously, is when I went into all the eliminations, was just one of the coolest things I got to do with the competitions and the eliminations. And then of course the 3 wins that I had probably jump out at me the most, because obviously the goal every season is to win a challenge championship, and I finally got the monkey off my back on Inferno 3, and the other 2, Island and Ruins, put the icing on the cake for me.
And that's amazing because the thing is, I gotta say, you've done not just those wins, but you've been some difficult finals. Like, I went back and watched Dirty 30. That was insane.
Yeah, Dirty 30 was was pretty extreme. It was a few days. We had to sleep outside in the cold next to a fire. Didn't get any sleep that night because I think Jordan put a dirty deed on me. And then it was long, it was grueling. The most difficult part about Dirty 30 was that you couldn't breathe. It was in Salta, Argentina, where in amongst the salt flats. So as we ran through these mountains, we were sucking this abnormal air, and when we were done, we were hacking for probably about a week, hacking, not knowing if this is actually ever going to get out of our lungs.
I hope. Well, luckily it did, and thank goodness.
Yes.
Alrighty, so you were also we were also part of the Legends that talked about the challenge Untold History documentary. So what was important for you to compete, to share your history, and to also relive some of those moments?
I think the Untold History was a kind of a monumental documentary for the challenge. I think it was important for the franchise to put something like that on display, to show where it all began, the dirt roads, the people that paved the way, that continue to build those roads brick by brick, elimination by elimination, unknown by unknown, and where it began, and then where it continued to go and to grow as a franchise, both with the people that created it and the people that were competing on it. So I just think it was an important display of affection in some ways for the show. I'm glad that the challenge gods did everyone a favor, and made that.
I'm glad he did too. I'm glad he did too. So you are the elimination king of the challenge, and many challenge super fans have cited your pole wrestle with Wes in the duel and the crazy 8 battle with Joss on Vendettas as 2 of the best eliminations of all time. In your humble opinion, why do these eliminations are mentioned the most and consistently voted by the challenge fans as the best elimination battles?
I think at the time with Wes, I don't think people on the challenge had seen anything as violent between two bigger names in the franchise at the time. I think I had come off of my my wins on Gauntlet 2. Wes had come off of his wins on Fresh Meat, and it was time for the duel of some of the best that had done it to that point, and we bled. I think Wes cried. I went home. I was distraught. I couldn't believe that I had lost at something like this. And I think there was a lot of emotions spewing out of both of us, where I think the fans really felt that this is something that they love about the show. And I think that me and Wes took it to another level that day. And I think that the fans appreciated it and remembered it. And it was almost a reason to continue watching the show, is because the show brought something that Survivor and Big Brother and, even WWE or any sport during that time didn't actually bring to the table. It was, yes, you had football. Yes, you had basketball. But you had UFC somewhere in there, kind of starting to make their way. And then you had me and Wes kind of beating each other up for a poll, and it just had never been done before. So I think that's why they appreciate that one.
And I got to say, it was very difficult for me to watch because Wes is a fellow Kansas City resident and Kansas City native, so I have to support my hometown hero. And because you two there was a voice challenge edition if I was on the podcasters editions and you hit your chair around and Wes turned her chair around, it would be very difficult for me to choose.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But I think the one that trumps that one easily by time and just sheer brutality is with Joss and the Crazy Eights. I think that's the one that's just it was longer, it was harder. I think that we were both stronger than the previous versions. If say the previous version of Derrick and the previous version of Wes, you had Joss. And the battle was with an object where you can kind of whip each other around and shoulder check and stomp and put your knee into their body. And it was 2 hours long, and it was by far the most brutal elimination that the challenge has ever seen, and longest that it has ever seen, and might possibly ever see. So I think that, again, the fans appreciate seeing two dogs go in there and give it their all for the sake of I don't even know what it was for. I thought it was just to do something awesome. And I think that people just appreciate what the show was able to offer them.
All right, so I have a surprise for you. I interviewed one of your top rivals of one of the two, and way back in 2020, I just had a chance to sit down with him, and I want to share with you what he's had to say about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
All righty, so hold on a second. Let me just get this started. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's a little bit from my interview with Joss Mooney way back in 2020.
Do you know what? They didn't even do it justice. Like, that went on for like an hour and 45 minutes. Like, we really bust each other up. Like, his eye was like hanging off. Like, he split his eye open. I tore my biceps. He tore his groin. And I got put down in like 12 minutes. I was like, what? I was like, I'm dead. I was like, even if like I did win that, I was at the point where I was just like, I was looking at the producers, like, I'm screwed. Like, it was a challenge like the next day, I'm not gonna be able to do it. But like, that was crazy. Like, I'd never met a guy who's so determined. And also, like, I was still a rookie at that point. And I do believe if I went in again, I would beat him. I know everyone, he's one of the diehard favorites, but like, he just knew, like, I'm gonna wear out at some point, and I just made a silly mistake. It wasn't like he outpowered me or anything like that. It was just it was a dumb rookie mistake, and it haunts me. Honestly, haunts me. I hate it, but and I've got a lot of respect for Derrick as well. Like, the guy is an animal. But I'd love to go again now.
All righty. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. He's a great guy. It was an honor to be able to have a moment like that in time in challenge history with a great guy like that. And obviously you see his physique. You just go to his Instagram and look at the first picture up there, and you see what a perfect human God has created. I still don't think it was a silly mistake. I don't think it was a rookie mistake. I think that he was worn out and didn't want to hit the ground anymore because we had hit the ground so many times. When he says the show doesn't do it justice when you put it into 12 minutes when we were out there for 2 hours, I do believe he's correct with that. I don't think people will really understand how many times we hit the ground and we just beat the shit out of each other. I mean, it's like, it's like as if you were, I think Johnny put it best, is like, you could have gave Josh a baseball bat, and same thing with me. You could have gave me a baseball bat and I would have hit him. He would have hit me. It's like that's what it was. It was like almost like hitting each other with a baseball bat for almost 2 hours until someone just said, I don't want to get hit with a baseball bat anymore. And, if it happened, I don't think I'd really want to do it again. Would he win? Again, like when two men beat the crap out of each other for that long, like, I just don't know if you really want to put yourself through it again. I would. I think I'd have a great time. I just don't know if it is the smartest decision for either one of us. But if the price is right.
Absolutely. And I was about ready to ask you, because if you and Wes go at it again, or you or Josh go at it again, would it be, I think the fandom would go electric.
Yeah. No, I'd do it again.
So both of them, or just one or the other?
Oh yeah, I do both of them. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Hear that, challenge gods? Fingers crossed. All righty. Sorry in advance, Eric. All righty. So let's talk about Challenge Mania. So how has the podcast evolved since you and Scott launched it back in 2017?
Well, I just think we started as a podcast, just bringing people onto the show and asking them questions about the show and kind of filling in the gaps on what people may have missed, to doing bonus content on our Patreon at challengemaniacs.com, where we get a little bit more unhinged, loosen up a little bit, and let it fly, if you will. And then a little less censored. And then we started doing the live shows where we started off small, just like a band that's trying to build a fan base, to the point where we're selling out shows and comedy clubs where real famous people go and sell out shows. And so it's just kind of become a point where it's we're doing live shows and meet and greets in the same places where Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock at least began. I know that they're selling out arenas and stuff like that, but these guys have definitely stepped foot where we're stepping foot, and started off selling out shows where we're selling out shows. And you just wonder how much further we can keep evolving and growing.
And you guys do a phenomenal job. So I want to get back to the live just a minute, but first, as a fellow interviewer, I would love to know, what kind of prep do you guys do? Is there because there's are there off-topic limits? Are there okay, I don't want to get in trouble with the challenge gods? How do you find that polarization? How do you find that line?
Well, I've fortunately been doing the show for 20 years, and I know what's off limits, what's towing the line, what's a gray area, and I always want to keep myself in good graces with them because they gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. I have a job that breaks down their show, so I obviously want to help the show continue to grow, and I want us to grow together. I don't want I don't want this thing to be like, I'm an asshole for saying too much or stuff that we're not supposed to be saying or shitting on the show. So I think it's more of a it's a team rather than I'm on my own, and it'll always be like that because without them, there's no challenge mania.
Absolutely. And I got to say this. I just finished listening to your nearly 3 hour conversation with Wes. Was that the conversation, the longest episode of Challenge Mania ever?
I think that maybe when Wes came on the first time, it may have been longer, and we just split it up into like 2 parts, maybe 3 parts. I think that the first time we had Abe on, we split it up in 2 or 3 parts. I think same thing with Kahada. And yeah, I agree. Great interview. I mean, really able to look into this inside the mind of a man that's really lived this world as much as he has. So it was fascinating to hear.
I agree. And I got to say, I also saw one of the sound bites made onto CT's Instagram that he said about regarding the old school, that new school would clobber old school. And I got to say, hold on a second. I have so much without you guys. New school wouldn't be in the position they're in right now.
Yeah, sure. But the comment wasn't, would they be in the position that they're in now? The comment was they would beat our ass. So, I think it's, I think, we are getting older and, but, with age comes, wisdom and experience. And, if it comes down to just a straight, run, then, maybe we just throw Jordan Wisely on the field against their strongest runner and see what happens. So it just, could we collectively, if they put a team of OGs together against them, like, for example, the first couple challenges of the Challenge 39 Battle for a New Champion, if it was us versus them, I think that maybe we would have beat them. So, it's like literally if it was you playing that game against us playing that game, someone do it faster. Like, I still think that it's very possible that the OGs, could have beat them in a few of those games. So, and the games they're not all just like brute strength and endurance. It's like there's so many different, variables involved.
And I gotta say this, the challenge is incredible when it's with its games. A lot better than Survivor Big Brother on their parts.
Yeah, I would agree.
Alrighty, so I had the opportunity to attend, if you count a watch show, 4 events of Challenge Mania, 2 in Kansas City. We missed you at both events. Wes's Challenge Mania wrap up, and then also Challenge Mania Laugh. And not to mention, when I was in New York, the watch party for War of the Worlds 2 finale that had Karin and Paulie attended. And then also our first time was a few weeks ago, as of this recording, in St. Louis at the Helium Comedy Club with Dan, with Mark, Brad, and Nuris and Raven.
Yeah. Well, I think the Kansas City one, I had some. My wife had some complications with her heart at the time, and then also, I think I got COVID for the other Kansas City event. And sometimes I can't make them all just because I have my son every other weekend. And so as much as I'd like to attend all of them, like I just have a lot of family stuff going on to where I can't make them all the time. But fortunately, the St. Louis event was pretty awesome. We got the newcomer Raven. I just found out that she wasn't on Love Island. Nerese was there. It was my first time meeting Nerese. They were so cool. Brad is always so fun to be around. And Dan Walsh. I mean, he's the one that I feel like I spent a lot of time with. I had like a small chunk of time with him that meant so much more than just his time on the show. I mean, the guy is just a great guy. He opened up and did stand-up comedy for you guys. And I mean, he's been sober for going on, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 years now. And you probably couldn't tell at all that the guy didn't have a drink. He's so funny. It's just, I love being able to mix and match with everybody and get the different energies involved and the different experiences involved and kind of see what we get at the end of the day or during the show. So for me, I love doing the mixing and matching. Just everyone just brings something new to the table, and it's fun to see the mix. Of course, Mark, anytime he shows up, he's just so good on the microphone. So yeah.
Absolutely. So I gotta say this. I gotta give a huge shout out to Dan as well, because Dan was on the podcast and I did not expect him shouting me out in my podcast out from the stage.
Yes. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. They're so cool. Everyone is so different and unique in their own way. And you just never know what kind of love they're gonna throw your way, whether it's at the meet and greet or during the show. I was in Nashville this weekend, and I recorded Tori and Anissa coming out on stage, and she looked over to a group of girls to the right, and it was just two girls. I think they had like a Tori sign, I'm not sure, but I could just see them. She pointed at them, and they looked at each other and got so giddy. And you could tell that that was a cool moment for them.
Awesome. And I gotta say, those post-show meet and greets, if you have the opportunity, guys, to attend Challenge Mania and be able to buy a meet and greet session and be able to buy tickets that include meet and greets, I strongly recommend it, because it's very memorable, and you also get to meet some very cool people in line while you're waiting to meet your favorite challengers.
Yeah. Some of the coolest part about Challenge Mania Live is the community that's continues to embrace each other. You know, there's so many people that go to these shows that go, I just came by myself. There's no one else that geeks out about the challenge that I'm around like I do. And I came here by myself, and I left with 2, 3, 4, 5 friends that I'm in a group chat with now. And that's just kind of how we keep growing. It's not, you don't always have to bring a friend, because you're just going to be full of friends once you get in there.
I gotta say, you brought up a wonderful point. I gotta give John a shout out. He was wonderful. And I also gotta say, without Paige and Dylan, I wouldn't be able to have them and meet my colleagues and grow and become friends with them. So that challenge meeting meet and greets have definitely been the best part. And because even though I love going to myself, that's the best way you can do it, is meet people online.
Heck yeah. No, I appreciate you stopping by the show and showing us love in your own unique way as well, Jacob.
Thank you. It means a lot. And also what means a lot to me is your inspiring workouts, because I have done CrossFit off and on for a decade. And you are the man when it comes to fitness. I am trying my best to be on this fitness journey. And also I got to give the challenge credit, because you and Joss and Jay and Paulie have all played a role in my fitness journey.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. It's just something for me, it's like going to church. I should probably go to church more than I go to the gym, but it's kind of like my sanctuary. I kind of got to go there to have peace of mind and feel like I'm normal. I don't know, just feel like I'm doing something that my body needs. It's like water.
Amen to that. And I gotta say, I've done a lot of incredible feats of fitness. like this week, like I never thought I would be able to back squat one by 270.
Nice. That's awesome.
And
Heck yeah, dude.
And I just did yesterday, 2 by 145 clean and jerk. So
nice. That's great. Heck yeah, dude.
Thank you. It's just tough because I always feel like I'm always the last person to finish. It gets frustrating. And if you can talk to my coaches about it, they've seen me for over the years. They can say Jacob definitely has a little bit of attitude.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of times it's a battle against yourself. It's not so much you versus someone else. A lot of times in life, it's you versus you, and it's about you creating a better version of you. So don't be discouraged about wherever you finish. I mean, 145 clean and jerk, 145, 270-pound back squat. That's a great job, dude. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you, Derek. I really appreciate it. So we guys go right down our conversation, my friends. So what have been some of the best social media platforms that you've connected with fans on?
I mean, obviously Instagram is where I have the most engagement, I guess. Where I basically put out most of my content on what's going on in my life, and what podcasts who we're having on as a guest, and who we had on as a guest at these live shows, and what's going on in my life. So yeah, I'd say Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm on Threads too, kind of, but I don't know how much that's cooking yet. But yeah, that's it. Those are my social media platforms, and yeah.
All righty, last question. Are you ready?
I am.
Besides social media, where can my audience find Challenge Mania, and if they want to go to any live shows to see you, Scott, and some of their favorite challengers, where can it go buy tickets?
All right, so we are in. What's next? What do we got next? How do I not remember this? We just put tickets on sale for Chicago. It's I believe February 2nd, but the next show is in Buffalo, December 16th, with Nani, Casey, Tony, and the rest of the gang. I think Anissa. And then what do we got coming up after that? January.
Indianapolis for the first time.
Yes, Indianapolis is January 6th. New York City, January 20th.
With Landon.
Yep. It's probably one and only chance to meet Landon if anyone is a real big Landon fan. So those are the shows we have on deck. It's Buffalo, it's Indianapolis, it's New York City, it's Chicago. Just go to challengemania.live for tickets. And for future shows, there's going to be more popping up all year long. So, if there's a cast member that you see and you really want to meet them, like just go and, ask your friends, ask your Challenge Maniacs if they had a good time. Usually they'll tell you they had a good time. And, I have yet to really hear too many bad things. So, it's the only reason we've been able to do this for 5 years is because people are having a good time. So challengemania.live for tickets, challengemaniapodcast.com to hear us interview the guests. And if you want some bonus content, we're a little bit more unfiltered. It's challengemaniacs.com. You can also get pre-sale perks there as well, and other stuff that we do, Zooms and a bunch of weird stuff, contests, Survivor contests, challenge contests, all types of random community stuff that we do there. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
All righty, guys.
And I'm at Derrick.
All right, Derrick. So get this. So guys, if you miss an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our channels on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And guys, do you want to see more of my interviews or want to see what's going on with Masked Singer or what's going on with America's Got Talent Fantasy League? head over to jakes-shake.com. Once again, jakes-shake.com. Derrick, I want to say thank you so much for kickstarting season 5 of the podcast. You are amazing. You are one of my all-time favorite. Thank you so much for inspiring challenge fans for years. You're one amazing person. I'm so honored to have you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on season 5, buddy.
Thank you so much, Derrick. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.